Folks, welcome to the Gathering Stone, apparently a map that Soul found that literally has a nice little gathering place out in the middle of it, where people can come to battle to the death for your entertainment. So, they who are about to die salute you. Welcome to another Sub-Commander's battle in Total War Rome 2, folks. Yes, like I said, courtesy of Soul. There's going to be 6 players, each one playing a role on their team, if you're not familiar with it. There's like a certain amount of funds that each player gets, and it can only be used in a certain fashion. One of the players comes pretty darn cav heavy. One of them is kind of like, I think, the spears, and then another one is pretty much the melee infantry. The spears and skirmishers? Yeah, I think spears and skirmishers and then like melee infantry. So they split up some of the capability there. Let's take a look at these armies here. We've actually got Chimeria for the cavalry of the, I'll just call it the home team here. The red banner outlines over here is going to be the away team. So we've got some Sarmatian horse archers over here. These guys do tremendous damage. Relatively short range though, 125. It's not terrible though. We've got a noble horse archer supporting them, which is a more armored, good in melee, is a secondary type cavalry unit. There's a couple of Median cavalry here. These are nice medium cavalry. I think very cost-efficient medium cavalry. Then we're going to see some mercenary Sarmatian lancers back here. These are nice shock cavalry. Probably something more akin to, say, like a Thessalian cav would be my guess. So medium units. There's some Thracian cavalry bearing down on them. Let's take a look up front here. I do see some spear units here that were brought by Syracuse, who is holding up the spears and the slingers. So it looks like a spear and a slinger, or sorry, a thorax hoplite, thurio spears, and it looks like 3 slinger units up front, and then back here in the back there is a mercenary veteran hoplite, 2 of them, and a picked hoplite. So some pretty heavy spears brought here by the brought by the Syracusan player. And we've got Parthia. Did I say Chimeria earlier? Is this? I think this Chimeria is over here. I meant Parthia. Sorry, Parthia is over here. There's a unit of Eastern Cataphracts rolling around as well. So yeah, sorry, got that one wrong. So yeah, Parthia there. And then as far as the melee component, we've actually got, oh man, they're gonna make this hard. Is this the RDA? This is the RDA. What? Is that the? Pretty sure that's the RDA. Yeah, because it's Axe Warriors, but it's the RDA without hoplites, huh? Okay, just their lord here. Not bad, not bad. So interesting. I mean, these are cheaper units, and your budget's not unlimited with these. So the Axe Warrior is probably not a terrible pick if they can end up supporting right here. Let's take a look at the other side. We got the Lusitani, who it's a bunch of let's see, veteran shield warriors and Iberian swords. The veteran shield warriors can deal quite a bit of damage, though they are low armor themselves. The Iberian swords have a lot of javelins, kind of a nice front range unit there. The Chimerians have brought their heavy archers, at least some of them. These are really cool units. Love me some Chimerian heavy archers. Very nice damage from range. There's some slingers backing them up. We've got a Lusitani noble, very deadly melee unit there. Probably the most deadly one on the field that we've seen so far. And we've got some militia hoplites, Scythian hoplites back here for Chimeria to back up, because remember it's spears and skirmishers here. So Scythian hoplite's not something we see every day there too. And then the Chimerian noble infantry, a cool unit here that you don't get to see too terribly often as well. So nice noble hoplite, pretty good spear damage on them. So let's get this one. There is some Thracian cavalry out here, and they are supported by a guerrilla warrior, which is a vanguard deploy, very light sword unit for the Lusitani. So could get some shenanigans with that. The Lusitani are going to clash immediately with some mercenary Celtic warriors, and that is not going to go well for the mercenary Celtic warriors. Those guys, well, never mind. There must not have been a charge order. The mercenary Celtic warriors are absolutely owning. I apologize, mercenary Celtic warriors. I underestimated you. Some Illyrian levies packing up a veteran or a hoplite unit here, which is kind of a cool way to grind out the veteran shield warriors potentially. We'll see whether it works. Nice counter charges here by the RDA infantry to kind of blunt the charge of the Lusitani, who just are screaming into combat at this point. Ooh, those Marines just fed them a face full of javelins, and then they didn't get a charge. Ouch. And then there's going to be another Axe Warrior charging through there. Yeah, these light Lusitani units hit a little bit early and didn't have proper backup, so we'll see what happens there. I don't think it's a great opener here, because the Lusitani do have a ton of killing power. It would have been neat to see them fight behind those hoplites, or allow the hoplites to come in and reinforce after the charge, because right now you're definitely seeing a combined arms here between Syracuse and RDA, and I think it's going to be pretty effective. However, this Lusitani Noble is ripping into this fight, but it's also taking a ton of skirmish fire. Let's see here, as Parthia tries to hold off the Thracian flank here. The Odrysian Kingdom, by the way, was the cavalry for the other team. That's why we saw some Thracian cavalry work in the other flank. There's 2 more of those here, and then it looks like some Thracian Thracian Royal Cavalry, but they get caught by a camel spear, which is kind of a cheap unit to disrupt them and allow these horse archers to fire. And I kind of like this kind of sacrificial measure here, almost just allowing those camels to hold up while you pour fire into that expensive Thracian royal horse there. Slingers are really working that Lusitani Noble. This is some excellent focused fire here. And that RDA line actually combined pretty effectively with the way those charges work. And look, there's going to be a reinforcement from the general here now as well. I mean, I don't believe I'm saying this, but that is an impressive showing by the RDA infantry there. Some things you say so rarely, it just almost feels strange coming off of your tongue. So an interesting cavalry fight here as Parthia and the Odrysians face off. Parthia is in no hurry to get into a melee with that cavalry out there. They're kind of skirmishing. Eastern Cataphracts now just eating fire from the slingers. What a play by the red team there. That is going to be worth every moment. Oh, and that Thracian Royal Cavalry coming in for the intercept. And the slinger fire pouring in. That's not going to be great for the Cataphracts. They are going to be feeling that hit point loss. However, they also are supported by some Medians, but I do like the focused attempt here to get after those Cataphracts. It is a deadly unit, and it's nice to see them being treated with such respect by the red team here. Speaking of the red team, their Scythian hoplites are trying to turn this around, but we'll see what happens. Those mercenary axe warriors are doing some yeoman's work there. Surely, did they come to the battle? They might have come to the battle with a triple silver chevron there. Let's see what's going on out here. Looks like the Thracian cavalry here chewing through some Medians. Did the Parthian commander get bushwhacked out here? I think he did. And I'm pretty sure I missed it. Could be missing him somewhere, though, too. The Illyrian nobles there. Yeah, I think the Parthian general may have gotten caught out here and torn apart by the Thracians, because I no longer see the Parthian commander, which was the royal horse archer. The Eastern Cataphracts tried to pull out of that fight. It looks like they went charging forward, but only found themselves engulfed in Cimmerian noble infantry, which is not going to be great. Those are pretty tough units there, the Cimmerian nobles. So let's see here. More slinger fire now coming into the picked hoplites this time. Let's see here. The home team, as we'll call them here, about to take a brutal charge from the Thracian Royal Cavalry. Those axe warriors are not going to hold up too well against that. Power bar says it's pretty even. I think I can believe that right now. There's skirmishers left over here for the away team, and they are making their presence felt in a big way. Those Cataphracts are getting absolutely shredded. Keeping skirmishers into the late game is always very important. Now we got some focus fire here into the Cimmerian noble infantry, and they have their back turned to those slingers, and those slingers are going to be racking up some kills, and that is really unfortunate for those Cimmerian nobles, because that is a powerful unit. I would say that the away team is going to need pretty badly here. Look at this Parthia pouring shots into the back of those Scythian hoplites. However, comes a helpful charge from their Thracian brothers here, trying to save them from the Thurios hoplites. There's still a picked hoplite that's basically untouched. The slingers are untouched. Oof, they have shredded that noble infantry, absolutely shredded it. In fact, they're going to force them to run away because there's an Illyrian noble on the way. Not a good situation here for the red team. They do have a mobility advantage for sure, but the heavy spears are starting to look pretty significant here, because this late into the game, I don't know whether there's enough skirmish fire to rip apart those picked hoplites. In fact, the skirmish fire right now is going into the slingers. That picked hoplite is a major problem. Oh, this is a probably way too gutsy charge here for that Thracian Royal Cavalry. They just went all in there. That picked hoplite is going to be like running into a metal wall with spears. Unfortunately for the cavalry, there's no javelins, but this is just full YOLO. That cavalry needs to get out of there. There it goes. It probably did get some kills on those axemen. Whether or not that's worth it, we'll see. Because they will definitely take some hit point damage. They did a little damage to the picked hoplites there. I'm assuming that these skirmishers are probably either out of ammunition or very near out of ammunition. The Cimmerian heavy archers are now into melee. They fight with spears secondary, so they're a little tougher than you would think. If they have ammo, though, they'll want to pull away from that. So it looks like the home team here shredding up that Scythian hoplite. There is very little infantry left for the away team here. They have a very nice cavalry presence, but there's almost no infantry left. And without a way to fix these heavy spears, I just don't know how they can pull this victory off. Because even if they threw all those skirmishers into them, skirmishers would be losing the fight. And then you've also got the Illyrian nobles at this point, so I would say it's heavily in favor of the home team at this moment, just because I don't see how the away team here is going to deal with that heavy infantry. This is a nice job of it right here, but again, probably not enough ammunition to finish this up. So those slingers tearing into the Cimmerian nobles ended up being a pretty big deal here, because those Cimmerian nobles are now badly needed, and I just don't know if they have the numbers. There's those heavy archers following these guys into melee. There's some mercenary axe warriors coming in, and this is a place where those Thracian Royal Cavalry were pretty badly needed to bust up that axe warrior before it arrived. But it looks like they're instead headed out to get rid of that Thorax hoplite that's chasing the slingers. They may still have ammunition, and so they may still want to clear that. But at this point, I think like I said, it should just be too little left to finish this off for the red team. But a valiant fight nonetheless. I honestly think up front, what could have maybe switched this in the other direction is if those Cimmerian infantry were right up behind those Lusitanis that were charging in. The Lusitani are really good on the charge, and what I would have liked to have seen there is probably more similar to what the other team did, where the RDA came screaming in, but then got reinforced by Syracuse. And I think that it would have been really good to see that same concept here from the red team. And in fact, based on how close this is, it may have made the difference if you would have seen the Cimmerian infantry roll in and hold the line after the Lusitani charged it, and then allow the Lusitani to cycle charge and get more damage done. You can cycle charge through your own units. It will work to a degree, so it's something to be aware of. A little bit of ammunition left here for the red team, so they're going to use that ammunition. They absolutely should. I don't think there's much that the other team can do about it, and honestly, they can probably just stand here and take it and still win. No reason to go chasing. They've even got a few of their own slingers left. So I'm going to fast forward this out. We'll see what happens, though. I would expect army losses to take effect here pretty quickly on the red team. They don't have a way to pull this one back. Ooh, Thracian cavalry took a shot from those slingers. 2 shots. So there it is. GG. So the Gathering Stone, folks. Hope you enjoyed your day at the Gathering Stone. Let's go take a look at the results here. Sol Invictus. Nice work with those Illyrian nobles. 250 kills. Really well played. Remember what I said earlier with the RDA infantry coming out and impressing me. It did. And like I said, that's something I'm not going to be saying very often. The Parthian player, I think, ultimately, though they didn't survive with all their cavalry, I think ultimately they did what they needed to. They kept their back clear. The skirmishers for Athens were still alive very late into that game. And that's really what you need to accomplish as the cavalry player, is don't give the enemy an easy kill on your skirmishers. So I think that Parthia accomplished what they needed to here with their mercenary Sarmatians and their standard frontline Parthian cavalry. And then Syracuse, the picked hoplites ended up being a really good pick. In this case, that was because they came into the game late. And hoplites, I always talk about how they're kind of mediocre, and I mean that from a melee standpoint. They're fairly mediocre. Where they are really good is in armor and shields, and that doesn't usually make the difference in a battle, but it did here, because we were talking about late in a game where the unit's armor and shield adds to defense, and it makes them extremely difficult to kill late in a game. So the hoplites definitely came into play, including the mercenary veteran hoplites there, so well done by Syracuse. And if we go to the other side here, the Cimmerian player did get some nice kills with those heavy archers. That is a dangerous unit, and they got a lot of good kills with their slingers too. So well played there. And those noble infantry were honestly doing great. They just ended up in a position where there was no more support left. And so they weren't able to finish it off Again, I think it would have been neat to see these Scythian hoplites come in right behind the Lusitani player here, because you can see those guerrillas actually got more kills than I thought. The Lusitani just needed some backup. They needed a way to be able to hit their charges and then fall back and try and finish the fight there. And if we take a look at JJ Mars here with the Odrysian Kingdom, nice job keeping this cavalry alive till late in the game. Did a really good job standing off against the Parthian player. And I think, honestly, got a lot done, all things considered, with the Thracian horses here. So good job to all players. Definitely enjoyed the Battle of the Gathering Stone. If you did too, make sure you get down there and thank Sol Invictus for sending this over. And of course, if you've been watching the other replays, we need to say big thanks to Hotel Soap too, who's been sending me a ton of replays and continues to. And then our own Wicked and who's the player that played with them now? I'm going to forget. Wicked and it's one of the XMT guys, and I'm forgetting the name right now. I apologize. But I appreciate both of them sending in the replays as well. So thank you to all of those who have been supporting the channel. Big surprise, though. I will be streaming this week. Mrs. Air and the boys are going to be gone for a couple of days. They're actually going up to visit my mom and some of their cousins. I have to stay at home, though, and continue to work. But that will leave me alone in the evenings, and I don't want to be alone all evening, so I'm going to jump on stream. So keep an eye out for it, and I'll be streaming for the first time in, well, a very long time. And I look forward to seeing you all there. HeirofCarthage signing out for now.